Welcome to Technology and Education. Today I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Caroline Crawford.
And today we are talking about using video conferencing software such as Google Hangouts or Zoom.us.
Or Adobe Connect.
Or Adobe Connect for those of you who have a lot of money, or if it's available, to enhance your online courses. So usually in a synchronous manner. That means that you and the students have to be ready at your computers at the same time, as opposed to what normally happens when you're teaching a course on a course management system. The students can access the information on the course or the content within the course at any time, and you, as the instructor, do not have to be there.
And there's a concern related to anytime, anywhere online instruction versus the mandated synchronous environments, and that needs to be a part of the discussion as well.
Okay.
Because mandating, you have people all around the world, and mandating that people are somewhere at a specific place and time as a requirement can be an issue.
That's a complication, but
Yes.
we're going to worry about that later. Because
there are options such as
the first thing we
office
want to
hours that don't have to be mandated.
The first thing we want to do is explain how video conferencing can be done
there's a thought.
within an e-learning course without worrying about why you shouldn't be doing it.
No, there are just
So
considerations.
be with the program. So the first thing you can do, if you can get your students together, is to arrange for a face-to-face, so to speak, online discussion using video conferencing software. And of course, as Caroline mentioned, this can be a problem if people are in within different time zones in your course. But let's say, in the best of all possible worlds, you could have a discussion with your class within certain limits using a video conferencing system. And if you have a really good system, you can be on the screen, and your students can be on the screen at the same time. And we know at least there are two free conferencing systems that will do this, and one of them is Google Hangouts,
Right.
and the other is Zoom, which is at zoom.us. They
have the options for free environments.
Right. And also, if you happen to be, if your school district or college has a connection, has a license for Adobe Connect, you could do the same thing with Adobe Connect, but you don't have the same freedom with that, since who you work for may or may not have this.
Well, it's a very strong environment if you're comfortable using it, and there is quite the learning curve to become comfortable using it.
Right.
However, it is a strong environment, so don't throw it under the bus.
Not under the bus, but I'm talking about things that any instructor could add onto any e-learning course.
On the fly.
On the fly, so to speak. Another thing that could be done is to develop exercises that are collaborative, where in place of
Team, group, peer.
Right, in place of a discussion on a particular topic, you could be running through an exercise where you're either all problem solving or you're developing something, and so that's another use that can be done.
As well as if you need one-on-one time with a student to talk about a manuscript, to talk about a project, to review something, there are different opportunities for viewing your actual screen so you can see the products the students are working on.
So it can be used for one-on-one tutorial, so you don't have to have the entire
Or
class
group
there.
tutorial, if you want, talking about a team effort.
Or, yes. If you had a group of students who didn't really understand what was going on, you could put them in a tutorial group. Or, a more likely scenario is your students can access these types of video conferencing software on their own, and that means that they can form their own video conference study groups.
And they can figure out the date and the time that works best for all of them.
Yes, that's
which makes it easier on you as the instructor as well.
So that you could offer this as part of your course and not inconvenience any student, and in fact be doing something for them that they would actually like. And the political part of that is, if somebody comes up to you and says, do you use video instruction, interactive video instruction as part of your course? And you can say, oh, I certainly do. We use interactive video conferencing tutorial groups. The students love it.
Why would someone care?
Well, you never can tell what an administrator is going to ask, because
if it's instructionally appropriate, that should be the impetus.
It should be, but this has been
But you're talking about reality. Oh,
this has been my finding in reality since working in school administration and teaching at university since around 1982, it takes an administrator approximately 4 seconds to say a sentence to ask you to do something, which can result in hours and hours and days of work. So the best thing to do is preempt that person before they give you a mandate to do something.
I'm going to stay off that soapbox.
I'm not getting off that
charged.
that soapbox, because I know that is absolutely true. Another thing that can be done, before I forget, is that you can invite outside experts into your course, which is not a new concept, to give a guest lecture via the video conferencing system.
But you're not inconveniencing the person who's invited in any way, because they can sit wherever they want to. As long as they have a strong feed, they can just jump in through a video conference.
Yes, and now the only complication there is that some people might strangely expect to be paid. So if you know people on your own that you can exchange, you can barter your time against their time, you can be an expert in that person's course, and that person can be an expert guest lecturer in your course. You're often running.
And I've been asked opportunities. Could you mind coming in and talk to the students stuff? Absolutely, sure, but it's quite the inconvenience running through traffic, especially in the Houston area, running through traffic and trying to get somewhere at the same time and figuring out if there's a room change where I'm supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be so nice just to say, hey, you want to come talk to my students? We have this little video conference set up. Would you mind using that? Absolutely. That's a great idea, instead of trying to run around town and figure out where you're going.
And another thing that can be done is that students in a distance education course can do their own instruction within your course. In other words, if you ask them to do a paper, a term paper or something similar, they can write the term paper, submit the term paper, but you can also ask them to do a verbal summation of the term paper with whatever, if they want to enhance it with photographs or references to the web, they can do that. But they get then speaking skills and get to practice that, and the rest of the students get to benefit from the information that they have gleaned from their own term papers.
That's a great idea, especially within an online environment, and how so many people these days in their professional lives are expected to be able to discuss within an online environment. So that's a great opportunity to practice and obtain feedback from different peer reviews, colleagues that want to see you do well. That's a great idea.
And another thing, before I want to add a caveat, is that most of these systems, or many of them, I shouldn't say most.
You're going to add a caveat before you add a caveat?
Yes. They will record the session. So once your session is completed, you can archive it, and any student who has missed the session can go back into that archive and see the entire recording of the video conference.
Which is also important for 504 concerns, assistive and adaptive technology concerns, making sure everything is available to everyone.
Now, here's the caveat. If your students are working with monitors that are 15, 16, 20 inches in diameter, that's relatively small. So any pictures that they see of their other participants in the discussion are going to be kind of tiny. So it's best if they have a large screen monitor. I'd say 23 inches would be good. 27-inch monitor would be super, and a 27-inch monitor these days can be purchased for about $200 if you know where to shop. You, as the instructor, should definitely have a 27-inch monitor so you can see everything that's going on in the class with ease. And with that, we've reached the end of another edition.
I don't have an opinion on that one, so.
Another edition of Technology and Education Today. I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Caroline Crawford. Bye.